What's up, Titans fans? It's your boy CD back again with another episode of Titan Up Today. Today is Thursday, which means it's a preview day. But it's bigger than that. It's Thursday Night Football, and we are the feature presentation. That's right, AFC South Division rivalry matchup tonight. Prime time TV. Indianapolis Colts traveling into Nashville to play our Tennessee Titans, who step in 6-2, going against them, who are 5-3. Both very high up in the AFC South. The winner will be the leader at the halfway point of the AFC South. Huge matchup today. But this episode, before we can even watch that, I'll bring you the preview. We'll preview it. I'll give you a quick injury update because it's been a real short, condensed week. I also bring you the bowl prediction and the game prediction all in the same episode, but no need to delay. Let's get down to it. All right, start this off with a quick injury report. The Titans safety Dane Cruikshank with a groin had to be put on the IR. He's going to be obviously out for this game. Wide receiver Adam Humphries with a concussion a couple weeks ago did not pass concussion protocol and did not participate in practice this week. Is out for this matchup. Cornerback Adoree Jackson was a good news, bad news situation with that knee. He did come off the IR. He's currently activated to the 53-man roster, but he did not participate in practice all week and is out for this game. Tight end Michael Pruitt with a knee did not participate and also is out. For the Colts, linebacker Matthew Adams is on the COVID IR list. Tight end Jack Doyle with a concussion did not participate and will be out. And lastly, tight end Mo Ali Cox with a knee was a full participant, slowly made his way up to Wednesday and was able to make it, but right now he's currently questionable for this matchup. Huge matchup. I cannot say it enough. I can keep saying it over and over again. It will not be enough. Understand what I'm telling you. This rivalry to the Titans is everything. Call it a rivalry. All the same, they've been beating up on us for, it seems like, a decade, since back when they had the future Hall of Famer Peyton Manning. But even lately, whenever they were an all right team, we've had difficulty beating them. Last year, we did well getting to the playoffs. This year has to be the same. They look healthier than they did earlier in the season as their defense is slowly coming together. You'll see as I bring out these numbers for you guys and put it all together. But this matchup, if we win, we get a 2.5 game lead, basically, because we'll have that tiebreaker on them head to head. If they win, they'll immediately go from second place, which is a game behind us, into tied with us, but in theory, a half a game ahead because they'll have the tiebreaker. Now, not trying to look too far ahead, but we do have a stretch of games coming up here as we play the Colts tonight. Then we get a little bit of a break before we play the Ravens the following Sunday. And then we get the Colts again the week after that. So it's like boom, boom, boom. It's going to be a difficult road here. So we have to knock this game out first and then go forward. So let's go ahead and jump straight into this preview of this matchup. We're going to start off with our offense versus their defense, what it looks like. So look at here, total points per game. The Titans are putting up 29 so far, which is top 10. 384.6 total yards per game is 10th in the league. We run 513 plays so far, which is towards the bottom. 181 first downs, plus 10 turnover differential is tops in the league. Tops in the league, still doing our thing, grabbing the ball and not giving it away. As you can see here, only 4 giveaways in the season. That's second in the NFL. 46.4 on third down conversion is top 10. And we're 4 out of 5 on fourth down, which is, again, 80%, which has us towards the tie for third place here in the NFL. Penalties, 429 penalties. Got to be honest with you, 18th is not Titans football, especially on the offense here. We're giving up a lot of yards, making mistakes. All right, so the Indianapolis Colts defense, straight to the point, they are good. Not good, they are great. The numbers right here I'll show you are the total defense. You got 20 points per game they're giving up. That's third. 290 total yards per game is first and not even close. First downs, they've only given up 143. That's first. Their third down conversion percentage of 45.5 sits in the middle of the pack. 4 of 6 they're allowing on fourth down conversions, has them tied for 22nd. 427 penalty yards, as you can tell here. They're really close to where we're at 429 offense versus defense. +4 in the turnover differential has them tied for 6th, and the 13 takeaways at this point in time has them 12th in the NFL. Their defense is solid, sound, pretty much all the way around. But we're going to break this down rushing and passing, and I'm going to show you exactly their strengths, and I'm going to try to find a weakness, but it's really, really difficult. But here it is right now. Our rushing offense against them, 246 attempts so far this season, is 7th in the NFL. We're averaging 147.6 yards per game, and that's a 4.8 yard per carry average, which is tied for 7th. We're 9 touchdowns, has them tied for 10th, and 6 explosive plays is also tied for 10th. As you can see there, all categories are in the top 10 when it comes down to the ground. But watch this. Indianapolis Colts run defense, 83.6 yards per game, that's 3rd. 3.3 yards per carry, that's tied for 1st. 202 rushing attempts against their defense is 7th least in the NFL. They've given up only 6 touchdowns, which is tied for 6th, and 2 explosive runs, which is tied for 2nd. So it's right back to basics. So we look like we're good. Hey, our run offense, hey, we're top 10 in everything. Come out and try to stop us. Well, they're basically top 5 in all categories and run defense. This is definitely our strength on offense and definitely their strength on defense. Add that all together with it being a defensive rivalry on a short week. It's going to be a very simple game plan. I think this is where the rubber meets the road, where the game will be played. It's going to be a gridiron, ugly, nasty, old school division game. Expect that. But again, going forward, our running game, obviously we got King Henry, number 22, Derrick Henry, currently statistically 182 carries, 843 yards rushing so far, has him 2nd in the NFL. My boy Dalvin Cook, man. Dalvin Cook just overtook him, running for 200 yards. Basically, that was half of his season. I'm sorry, a quarter of his season in one game. But Dalvin Cook, congratulations on the good game last week. Derrick Henry, now's the time to get back up to the top. So he's got 4.6 yards per carry. That's 8 touchdowns and 4 explosive plays. Again, those 8 touchdowns are tied for 2nd when it comes down to touchdowns on the ground. The ground game, especially Derrick Henry, is doing his thing. Their defense is good. To the point, like I told you last week, whenever I broke down the Bears, I'm like, hey, I can't even, there's so many players I can give you a briefing on all of. I could preview every single one of the players. That was nothing compared to what I was doing. I'm looking at these numbers, the statistics just jump off the board, but they're all even. Like they're all just as great as a complete squad. Darius Leonard did miss some time early in the season, but his stats look like this: 51 tackles, 37 solos, 1 sack, 5 tackles for a loss, 1 forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. This guy plays all over. He's extremely athletic, crazy instincts. You've seen him on the film. He's by far their best defensive player, period. Just by far. The next guy up, this guy's from Cali, young guy, Bobby Okereke. I'm thinking of saying that. Okereke, I believe his name is. Number 58. Watch film on this guy. 49 tackles, 38 solos. He's right there with Darius Leonard, all over the place. 5 tackles for a loss, 3 pass deflections, and a pick. Next guy, Anthony Walker, number 54. We'll be seeing a lot of him as well. You got 3 linebackers. These guys run a 4-3 middle linebacker and a left outside and a right outside. But these guys, Anthony Walker, 47 tackles, 38 solos, 2 tackles for a loss, 3 pass deflections, and an interception as well. And it's just like they don't stop. They keep coming and keep coming. So that's their defense trying to stop, or their rush defense trying to stop our rush. We got a lot. I will say this, as we've been building up, Deonta Foreman, I think we'll see a lot of him as well to kind of spell Henry, because Henry's going to be getting pounded in there as they're going back and forth. Expect a lot of Jeremy McNichols as well. But we'll see. We'll continue to go on. But I think that this game as well, with all that running, we have to pass to keep them honest, or they'll have 8, 9 guys in the box to try to stop us, even though it didn't work in the playoffs last year. Just keep that in mind. But I think this is going to be play action, a lot of play action. When you have linebackers that are making a ton of tackles, especially tackles for a loss, that usually means whenever you put the ball out, show them that the ball is going to the running back, they tend to crash. Our offense, especially that short game, whenever we run that quick slant over the middle, right behind the linebacker with AJ or Corey, these guys got to catch the ball this week for sure. I think that's how we're going to have to attack them through the air. Our passing game looks like this. So far, 255 attempts, which is actually towards the bottom. 237 yards per game is 20th in the league. 25 explosives and 12 sacks allowed, which is actually really good. Has us in the top 10. Indianapolis Colts pass defense, on the other hand, again, look at there, all single digits except for the sacks. 206 yards per game they're averaging, third in the NFL. 62.9% of passes attempted on them are completed. That's another top 10 stat. 6.9 yards per attempt, another top 10 stat. 10 touchdowns, that's tied for second. 11 interceptions is first in the league. Quarterback rating, 78.5 is first in the league. Again, not even close to second place. 20 sacks, that's their downfall again on the pass defense, with only being tied for 12th in the NFL. They've only given up 23 explosives, and that's tied for 8th place. Again, I keep looking at the statistics. Against the run, against the pass, this team is sound all the way across. And a lot of teams, we played the Bears last week. They were really good against the run and then kind of all right against the pass. This team is great against the run, great against the pass. The stats are there to all the statistics. We're talking about rushing statistics and passing statistics, but the points are there as well. As they're number one in the league, not giving up points. This defense is for real. This defense is for real. I think I said that enough. Maybe we'll pass on to that. But we can still beat them. Trust on that. We got to do it through the air, maybe. Tannehill, what does his stats look like? 109.4 quarterback rating. That's 6th in the NFL. 65.7% of his passes completed. Again, the last 2 weeks, he's been slowly coming down off his completion rate. Last week, he started off 0 for 4 before he hit that 38-yard slant to A.J. Brown, where he turned it up the field and did some damage against that Chicago Bears defense. Tannehill's got to have a game. 1981 yards so far this season. 7.8 yards per attempt is really, really good. It still stands. That's really a top tier number for a quarterback. 19 touchdowns is tied for 5th in the NFL. 3 interceptions thrown is still very efficient. When you're talking about 19-3 touchdown to interception ratio, we're talking about top status. So we're talking about elite quarterbacks doing that. So we have to make sure that we're efficient with the ball again against a very, very sound defense. Who we throwing the ball to? Right now, A.J. Brown, number 11, is leading the pack of receiving threats for the Tennessee Titans, currently with 31 receptions, 457 yards, 14.7 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns, has him tied for 7th, and 5 explosive plays for the young man. Number 2 for us, Corey Davis, 29 receptions, 369 through the air, 12.7 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 6 explosive plays. We got a dual head. You can line one out left, another one out right, but we got a third guy who's, again, been kind of quiet. Then out of nowhere, boom, blows up in the fourth quarter for 38 yards and a touchdown, is Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, 24 receptions, 304 yards, receiving at this time, 12.7 yards on every catch is what he's averaging. 6 touchdowns, again, tied for 7th with A.J. Brown. 4 explosive plays for him as well. But again, I can talk about our offense, but it goes right back to the defense. They have people. Their personnel matches their statistics. They don't have no-name guys either. They got names. Danico Autry, heard of him? Yeah. So he's got 20 tackles, 13 solos, 5 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss. This guy, coming off the end, is good. He's quick, he's strong, all those things, but he's not it. They brought over DeForest Buckner. Remember him from the 49ers, or the 49ers, we'll call him that? 34 tackles, 19 solos, 1 pass defended, and a forced fumble. Don't forget Justin Houston. I don't have his numbers up here, but they have people. People are on the depth chart on the roster, a lot of names. In the backside of the defensive backfield, Xavier Rhodes, 18 tackles, 15 solo tackles, 9 pass deflections or pass defended. That's tying him for 9th, and 2 interceptions in which he took one of those back to the house. So not only can he get it, but he can move with it and cause those turnovers or turn them into points. Got to keep that in mind whenever we're running routes out there. That's one guy, say he covers A.J. Brown. The other guy that we got to worry about is Kenny Moore. On the opposite side, he has 32 tackles, 28 solo tackles, 7 passes defended, 2 interceptions, and 1 taken back to the house. They both done that, and like it's nothing. So their defense has been doing really well, not only keeping them in ball games, but actually winning ball games for them, causing the other team, their opposition, to make mistakes. So we have to play sound on offense, play smart for all 60 minutes and every snap that we have. No limit penalties. Be smart. Be smart. Whew. Now that's our offense going against the defense, but they get the ball too. So what do they look like on offense? Indianapolis, 20.1 points per game, middle of the pack. 360.5 total yards per game, middle of the pack. 512 plays they've run so far this season, towards the bottom. 174 total first downs, again, towards the bottom. Their +4 turnover differential shows its head again. They're tied for 6th. They've given the ball away 9 times all season, which ties them for 7th place. On third down, they're converting 38% of their attempts, which is actually towards the bottom of the NFL. On fourth down, whenever they do need to use it, they're 8 for 13, which is 61.5%. And penalty yards, 427 penalty yards, is in the middle of the pack. Again, I want to emphasize 38.0 on the third down conversion. We just played the last team, the worst team in the NFL when it came down to third down conversions, and we made them look worse than they actually did. So just keep that in mind. Our Tennessee Titans defense, 25.1 points per game. Again, middle of the road, nothing to write home about. 394.1 yards per game is a lot. 191 first downs given up this season is in the middle. 55.4% of current third down conversions. The sad part, this is a good news, bad news situation. The sad part is we actually moved up 5 percentage points and we're still in last place, and it's still like not close. On fourth down, 8 of 11 we've given up. That's 72.7%. That's 24th in the league. Penalty yardage, could be more disciplined, still leaning us in the middle of the pack at 387. +10 turnover differential I can talk about all day. And we've taken the ball away 14 times this season, which is tied for 4th. Again, I told you guys this almost every week for the past month. Our defense has been taking the ball away so much, combining that with our offense not giving the ball away, has us obviously tops in the league with that +10 turnover differential. This is what's been saving us in a lot of games where we're not playing well at all. We take the ball back, give it to the offense, and can steal a 3-point field goal or score a touchdown and make them pay for their mistakes. That has to be the same today. But them, how they're going to do it, they're going to run the ball or pass the ball. Let's look at their rushing offense from Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts currently running the ball 224 times all season, 102.4 yards per game, 3.7 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, and 2 explosive runs all season long. As you can see there, their yards per carry and the explosive runs are towards the very bottom of the NFL. Tennessee Titans rush defense, on the other hand, 119.1 yards per game is 17th, 4.5 yards per carry, same thing. 212 rush attempts against our defense is 11th least in the NFL. We've only given up 7 touchdowns, which is almost in the top 10 as it ties us for 11th. And 6 explosive plays is top 16. I don't know what that means. It's just in the middle of the pack. But anyway, so our defense, when it comes down to stopping the run, again, nothing to write home about. But who are they going to run the ball with? They used to have Marlon Mack. I'm a big USF fan. South Florida, throw it up. But anyways, Marlon Mack hurt, been out. They brought in the rookie, Jonathan Taylor, and he's been doing just fine, suitable, almost 4 yards a carry, as you can see here, 106 carries so far, 416 yards, 3.9 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns, 1 explosive. This is the guy that they're going to try to run the ball with for the most part in between the tackles. He's good. He's quick. He can get outside, but he's strong. He can beat up the middle as well. I like our defense stopping the run. Just in general, we got the personnel to stop this run. But don't just think that it's all about Jonathan Taylor. They got other backs as well. Wilkins is another one that we'll need to worry about as he catches the ball out the backfield and does a little bit of running. But Nyheim Hines, that guy seems like they line him up at wide receiver and he runs all over the place. Running him down all over the field, that's going to be Jayon Brown's responsibility. Expect that. Jayon, as you can see here, 66 tackles, 38 solos, 4.5 tackles for a loss, 7 passes defended, 1 pick and 2 forced fumbles, added one from last week. Now, he's going to be stopping. He's right now leading our team in tackles. He's going to be stopping the run, but we'll also expect him to be all over the place in the pass game. Whenever we man up, he will be following Nyheim Hines, again, all over the field. It will be a great matchup to watch. Our other linebacker, still there, Rashaan Evans. Rashaan Evans, 46 tackles, 27 solos, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 fumble recovery. Now, Indianapolis Colts pass offense, it's been up and down. A couple years back, they obviously had Andrew Luck. He was hurt. Then they moved over and they had Jacoby Brissett. I can't stand that guy. We couldn't sack him. It seemed like we always could say he was not that athletic, but he was just athletic enough to get away from us. Remind me of that Joe Burrow play a couple weeks ago. But anyways, this year, they got a slower quarterback than all their quarterbacks. I would say he's as fast as Peyton Manning. I don't know. You can gamble and say he might be just as fast, maybe a little bit faster than Peyton Manning. Doesn't matter. Phillip Rivers comes over from San Diego. San Diego turned to LA. He had a decent career over there. Didn't really win much. Seemed to kind of get to the playoffs. If he could get to the playoffs, he kind of stumble. Actually, I don't know if he even got to the playoffs, but he never really just panned out and did major things there. So now he's with the Colts, all right? So the Colts pass offense should be much better now because they signed this guy, come over, that got a good offensive line. Jacoby Brissett's going to sit and watch this guy work. Phillip Rivers is going to do his thing, right? Well, this is what their stats look like. Indianapolis Colts pass offense, they've attempted 280 passes so far, 258.1 yards per game. Again, middle of the pack. 29 explosive plays is top 10, but they've only been sacked 1 time. That's the O-line that we're talking about. Our Tennessee Titans defense going to stop that pass attack. We're giving up 275 yards per game. That's not good. 67% of passes attempted on us are completed. Again, towards the bottom. 7 yards per attempt is top 10. That means keeping it all in front of us. Nothing deep so far. 19 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. That's tied for 28th in the NFL, but we have those 9 interceptions to balance that out, and that's tied for 5th. Currently, quarterback rating against us is 94.8, and we've gotten only 10 sacks on the season. That's tied for 29th. That's not good, and we definitely got to get to the quarterback. We're going up against a team now that only gives up 8 sacks on the season out of 8 games that they've played. And we're almost in last place when it comes down to sacks. It's definitely not the vibe. The positive, though, when it comes down to explosive plays, we are top 10 in the NFL. We've only given up 24 on the season. That is a good look. Definitely a good look because they have wide receivers, young talent, as well as some old talent in T.Y. Hilton that are able to get open. But let's not just talk about it. Let me show you real quick. My boy, Phillip Rivers, with a lackluster career is what I would say. This is what his stats look like so far this season through 8 games. He's got 91.9 quarterback rating. 67.9% of his passes are completed. He's thrown for 2,000 yards. 2,087 yards, and 7.6 yards per attempt is actually pretty good. He's got 10 touchdowns, but 7 interceptions. If you recall, going backwards, they only have 9 giveaways on the season. He's given away 7 of those 9. So just keep in mind, 10 touchdown to 7 interception ratio is not the good look that they're looking for through their passing game. They will be throwing the ball to their number 1 receiver at this point, statistically speaking, is Zach Pascal. He is currently 27 receptions on the stat sheet, 297 yards, 12.4 yards average, 2 touchdowns, and 5 explosive passes that he's caught over this season. Their next threat is the guy who I'm really worried about. Again, I said this last week when I was talking about Jimmy Graham. We have been having some issues stopping tight ends. Jimmy Graham didn't have a huge game, but still had a solid game. But Jimmy Graham is old and is a shell of his old self. Mo Alley-Cox is in his prime. Young dude, very athletic, fast, can catch the ball, can run after the catch, can block, can do it all. This is the guy that we need to put a hat on and make sure that we get at least 1 or 2 bodies eyeing him at all times. Mo Alley-Cox, number 81, 17 receptions. He was hurt for a couple weeks early in the season, so the numbers probably don't jump off the page. But 17 receptions, but he still has 274 yards receiving at 16.1 yard average, 2 touchdowns and 5 explosives. Again, don't let these numbers throw you off. This guy is their threat right now. And just remember who Phillip Rivers used to throw to back in the day. It was a lot of Antonio Gates. Then when Antonio Gates went away, then it was a lot of Hunter Henry. Then Henry got hurt, and there was a little bit more Antonio Gates. He likes the tight end, is what I'm trying to say. Just expect Mo Alley-Cox, and hopefully our defense is ready for that. But Mo Alley-Cox has got to be the guy we focus on in the passing game to make sure that he is not able to do what he wants to do. Phillip Rivers being he in the pass game. Their next guy up, T.Y. Hilton. We all know him. He's still there. Has had a little bit of an off year this season. I don't know if they're just not on the same page, him and Phillip Rivers, or what. But 22 receptions, 250 yards receiving, 11.4 yard average, no touchdowns on the season. And this is not the game to start getting in the touchdown category. 0 touchdowns, 5 explosives, but we have a defense to stop them. So how are we going to do this? Is turnover, ball, crazy defense that we have. Harold Landry is our guy, our sack leader with 2.5 sacks. Sad. Anyways, 35 tackles for Harold so far. 26 of those are solo. As you can see, the 2.5 sacks are still there. We just need to get to the quarterback. I don't know another way. We just need to get it. I think at this point we need to start just blitzing or something. I don't know. But we got to get to the quarterback. Phillip Rivers is definitely a guy that can get done. Drag him down to the floor. Harold Landry finishes out 5 pass deflections so far and that 1 interception still. So let's see if maybe he can get another interception. That'd be nice to put him up there with Malcolm. Speaking of Malcolm Butler in the secondary is our leader. 53 tackles, 44 of those are solos, 1 tackle for a loss, 10 passes defended, and those 2 interceptions are still there. But he's due. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since he got a pick. It's time, Malcolm. Time to grab one of those. Maybe take it back, man. But like I tell you guys every single week, there's 3 phases to this game, and one of those phases have been crippling us throughout the entire season, not last week, and we got to keep that up. That phase is special teams. As you can see here, special teams for Tennessee, we're 11 of 18 kicking field goals. That's 61.1%. Again, another statistic that we went up 3 points on this one. 3 percentage points, still not enough. We're still in last place by ourselves. But when it comes down to punting the ball, our net punt average 43.1 is 13th in the NFL. 11 punts inside the 20, which is tied for 13th. And just real quick, when it comes down to punting, we had Ryan Allen last week come in relief for our boy Brett Kern, but Brett Kern is back this week. We can expect him kicking balls as his wrist is now healed. But when it comes to kickoff returns, 17.3 yards per return finally has made it all the way down to the bottom, and we are currently in last place. We need to get something explosive in the kick return game ASAP. Punt returns, we're in the middle with 8.8 yards per punt return. In Indianapolis, well, they seem to be good at just about everything. So 17 for 19 kicking field goals. It's 89.5%. It's tied for 12th in the NFL. Punting the ball, 43.5%. Net average is 12th. 11 punts as well inside the 20-yard line is tied for 13th. With us, 28.3 yards per return is 3rd in the league when it comes down to kickoff returns. So definitely need to be alert for that in kickoff coverage. When it comes to punts, 9.1 yard average on punt returns, has them 14th in the NFL. This team is good. And let me just let's wrap this preview all the way up if I can. Put this in a tight little bow. Our offense versus their offense. Our offense, running the ball, is much better than them running the ball or passing the ball. Our passing attack is much better than their passing attack. And I would say it's better than their rushing attack as well. So we can expect our offense when we walk in here to be superior to their offense. The problem with that, the key problem to that is we don't play against their offense. We play against their defense. So our offense, when you look at them going against their defense is tops in the league. Like it's a number 1 defense in the league when it comes to scoring, and top 3 in almost every category when it comes down to rushing yards and passing yard statistics. These guys are legit on the defensive side of the ball. So our offense going against their defense, it looks totally different. Definitely running the ball is the way to go. I think we have a couple things on our side, and I'll get to it here in a second. When it comes out of their offense, their Colts offense against our defense, I think that we have the say there. And that's those two are on the field at the same time. I think that we have to say we're going to stop their run. And as long as our defense continues to turn the ball over, we win the turnover battle, we win this game. Because I think Ryan Tannehill and the boys on the offense can keep the ball and be efficient and be smart with the ball. Penalties need to stay down. This needs to be a sound game. All aspects of the entire football game, all 60 minutes has to be sound. Anybody makes a mistake, they will pay for that mistake with points on the scoreboard. Kicking field goals, we cannot miss chip shots. Now, if you're missing something, a 55-yard attempt, I get it. I can understand that you make those sometimes you miss them. When we're talking about inside of 40 yards, it can't be anything go wrong on these kicks. They have to go through the uprights. Brett Kern, again, welcome back. When it comes down to punting the ball, make sure that we're being efficient with the ball. When we're punting it, we need some balls inside the 20. Time of possession will play a factor here. Ball position, whenever we're talking about where you're starting, each drive, all these things will play a factor. This is a legit football game that we're about to experience tonight. I cannot wait to see this. So whenever I see this entire picture all together, I think that the way this works out for us, the Titans, if we have a shot at all of winning this game, it is just pounding the ball, and staying with it. Their defense, again, we know they're really good against the rush. We got that. But what we have to our advantage is a couple things. One, it's a short week, but we're both on a short week, right? We just played on Sunday, and now we're playing on Thursday. Well, yes, but we got an extra day of preparation, if you will, an extra day of rest and relaxation because the Colts had to travel to get to Nashville. So that's the one day that we get. The other side of it is the Ravens just ran the ball 38 times against this team just a couple days ago. So they're beat up a little bit, even though they held their own against a Ravens rush offense, which is tops in the league. They held their own, but there's only so much a body can take over. You need 7 days. You need 5, 6, 7 days to recover from that kind of rushing game to be able to take on King Henry, Deonta Foreman, and Jeremy McNichols. I think that's our answer is run, run, run. All in all, this is going to be a great game, a great matchup to watch. I cannot wait to jump into it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and show you real quick. This is what the Tennessee Titans look like in Vegas going against the Colts. The Colts, again, 5-3 going against the Titans. Somehow, the Titans are now the underdog at home going against these Colts. The Colts are currently favored by 1 point. The over-under is 48.5. As you can see, the people here on my crew, this is what they're saying. I can't argue with them. This is going to be a game. As you can notice here, everyone has a game. Close is no blowout at all. This is going to be an entertaining game. But I actually know the real score and how this is going to shake out. Here it is. The Tennessee Titans win this ball game 20-19 in an absolute slugfest. Two division rivals going hand-to-hand, beating each other up for 60 minutes is going to be a ball to watch. If you like nasty, dirty, grimy football, this is the game. Definitely the game. As you can see here, it's going to start off really slow, but I think it ends fast. The Titans win this game with a late field goal. A Gostkowski made field goal. We win this game 20-19, and it's going to be an absolute great game. I cannot wait to watch it. But usually on Saturdays, I give you all the predictions. This day, I only can give you one because there's only one game to predict. We'll still do our Saturday game predictions as normal. But one thing that I won't be doing on Saturday that we'll be doing today is my bowl prediction. That's right, Week 10 bowl prediction coming to you on a special night because the Titans are playing on a special night. It's Week 10, but before we go to Week 10, let's look at Week 9. That Ryan Tannehill gets 300-plus yards through the air and 3 touchdowns on the way to victory. Expect a big game from Ryan Tannehill and more than likely throwing the ball a ton to Jonnu Smith as he's now healthy, not on the injury report. Expect a ton from Ryan Tannehill. All right, so Ryan Tannehill did not have anything near, I think he had half the yardage that I said. He did have 2 touchdowns out of the 3, but he started off extremely slow. We were completely out of sync. The wide receivers, tight ends, quarterback, everything was just sloppy when it came down to throwing the ball. That game is thrown away. Again, week 10 is here, and I got the bold prediction for week 10 coming at you right now. And that's right. Derrick Henry is the man rushing for 2 touchdowns. We're only going to score 2 touchdowns. Remember that. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals by the Titans. He gets both of them on the ground. We are going to pound it, pound it, pound it for 60 minutes straight. As much as we can run Derrick Henry, I say he gets the ball probably 30 times or more this game. And that last touchdown will be one of those long Derrick Henry touchdowns to win and seal this game late for us before the Gostkowski field goal. All right, Titans fan, I appreciate you guys for hanging in with me. I gave you a ton of information today as I brought you the preview, the injury report, predicted the game, as well as broke down the game, and then also give you the bold predictions, a lot of information to suck in, and I appreciate it. And hopefully you appreciate me. And if you do, click that like button on this episode or any other episode in the past that you liked. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Also, go ahead and click that notifications bell. Get notified the next time I put my update up here on YouTube. You'll be getting the next update tonight after the game as I give you the post-game recap after this game. It's going to be a late one, but I'll still post for you guys. I cannot wait to see you after this great game is concluded. But before I go and we go on to Thursday Night Football to watch this amazing football game, I got one question for you. Why tighten up tomorrow? We can tighten up tonight, baby. Tighten up, baby.